So even at the end of the night, I was always still the one just sitting there alone, killing a fucking 6-pack and then taking 3 shots, and she's just sitting there like,
It's the same thing. It's like I always envied people like that. I was in a meeting a couple hours ago, and we had like a first step meeting, and I was just hearing some of these stories, and everybody's story is so common as alcoholics. It's like, yeah, I'm with these people, and they can stop at 3 or 4, but then it's always me at the end of the night drinking by myself, and it was like, why do we need to reach a certain point compared to other people? It's like.
yeah, I mean, I remember planning my whole day around when liquor stores are going to open and close, and what ones I'm going to go to make sure that they don't see me go to the same one twice, or they haven't seen me 5 days in a row.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to welcome you to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. Just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Sober Strong Apparel. Sober Strong Apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. Heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor. And every piece you throw on says you're a part of the crew that doesn't back down. Every order fuels recovery with 10% donated to treatment facilities because we don't just talk about it, we stand on it. So go to SoberStrongApparel.com, use code ROCKBOTTOM, all capital letters, for 15% off. Now 15% off. Awesome site, awesome clothes. Quality is amazing. The clothes looks good. Wearing a shirt as we speak. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and definitely check out SoberStrongApparel.com. All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. I'm here with my guest today, Mitch, another sober guy. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Really happy to have you on here and to share a little bit about your story. So since this is a recovery podcast, we'd like to ask the first questions of what was your drink or drug of choice and what's your sober date and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. So my sober date is August 25th, 2024, and my drug of choice was definitely alcohol. Alcohol and cocaine, but mainly alcohol.
Yeah, same here. Alcohol and cocaine, but mainly alcohol is what took me out. So yeah, I know the story. So I want to hear more about yours though. So can we kind of just start up on the early days? What was your childhood like with your family growing up and stuff, and what led into like your first use or drink?
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty okay childhood. I mean, my parents got separated when I was really young, probably like 3. I didn't really get affected by it from that much, but overall, pretty average middle-class childhood. Went to Catholic school, was raised by my single mother throughout that. Overall pretty basic stuff. But my first drink was probably around the age, I think, 13. My friend was like, hey, let's smoke a little weed. So I smoked a little weed first, and then we got caught smoking weed. So we found my friend's liquor cabinet and dove into that. Didn't really progress into much until I think I was like 16 and started partying a little more in high school.
So just experimental from 13 to 16, kind of just here and there.
Yeah, just
remember
dabbling
your first
around.
Buzz, what that was like?
Yeah, I was at my friend's house and we were in his family room, and I remember just laying on the floor. He had a Wii Fit going on thing, that like old Wii fitness board on the Nintendo Wii, and we were trying to balance on it and we couldn't, and I remember that much. And like laying on the floor next to it.
So it progressed, and then when you're 16 in high school, just kind of like social drinking, partying.
Yeah, I mean, I got to partying, and then I was never exactly a star student, so I started to dabble a little more. I was drinking more. I'd go out to parties. My friends would have a bottle, and, after prom, after this, after that. And then it became, why not do this all the time?
Did you feel like, do you think you're suffering from any like anxiety or depression or stuff you're trying to mask, or just kind of reason of like fitting in, socializing and stuff, or both?
I'm super anxious. Like, I'm diagnosed with a major anxiety disorder and depressive disorder. But yeah, throughout high school, I was always super socially anxious, like throughout my whole life, really. And alcohol, liquid courage there got me to loosen up, socialize a whole lot more. It seemed like it made people like me more because I wasn't branching out much, being
Yeah,
quiet all the
I
time.
had a similar childhood and teen years. I was like, I played sports and got decent grades and stuff, but like on the inside, I never really wanted to be outgoing. I didn't have trouble making friends, but I was never doing any of the talking. It seemed like.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. I had friends. I just wasn't the one really jumping out to go and try and
Yeah,
talk to
same. I
everybody.
always envied those people that were just free spirits, talk to whoever they want. And here I was like dreading giving a speech in a class 3 weeks from now, So,
You and me both. If I had to do any type of public speaking or anything above the class, oh, you got to do a presentation, it would be weeks I'm
same,
amping
same.
myself
And
up
even
for it.
when that class would come and I would just stand in front, I'd still be like shaking and like embarrassed, and I'd just be like, "Oh my
Yep.
God." I think one time I even like left
Cracking.
the room after a presentation and started crying outside the room because I was just like, "I don't know why this happens to me." It was like a physical reaction.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, but
totally
I
hear
mean,
you
even
there.
that would happen, and I'm sure maybe if you went through social anxiety too, but even in like groups of people, I just felt like I was being judged 24/7, like my every movement.
But yeah, always. I always thought if I'm walking away, now everyone's
Yeah.
talking about me and like all that weird shit that never is happening. But in my head, it sure
Yeah.
is all the
They
time,
say if like
nonstop.
5% of our what we think's gonna happen, or 5% of our negative thoughts are actually true.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it started to, drink turned into like social drinking to progressing into drinking all the time, and you felt like, when did you kind of start to realize, hey, I think I might be dependent on it?
I think probably so when my mom moved to Georgia when I turned like 21 and I was drinking alone when she lived here, but I was living with her and like my excuse was, oh, I'm awake talking to my family and I'm not really like secluded alone. I've got friends over, we're playing pool, even though I'm drinking every night. It's social still. And then she moved away and I was sitting in a chair until 2 in the morning, blacking out on double IPAs, and I'm like waking up in the morning, I'm coming back from the bar. I don't know how the fuck I got home. I'm just waking up like, this might be a problem. I'm like, this doesn't seem like an average way that someone
Exactly.
lives.
Was it getting you into any, say, trouble or in relationships that were toxic or any kind of consequences?
Absolutely. I mean, on my 22nd birthday, I went out with my friend and we drank a bottle of Jameson in a parking lot and went into the bar. I think we drank. He's getting amped up and I'm like, yeah, he's like, this guy owes me money. And I'm like, let's go fucking get it. And we're driving, fucking accident. I ran from the cops. They screamed taser at me. I'm behind an alley. I don't even know where I was. My friend had to come get me from the police department. It was a fucking disaster. And that's just one of
Jesus.
many.
So, how many times, like in your early 20s, do you think you ended up in jail or interactions with the cops?
Shockingly, I never got arrested, but I was put in the back of a cop car easily probably 15 plus times. The cops have pulled up they've been inside of my home. They've been outside of my mom's house telling me to stop drinking because I'd come home from work drunk and get into a fucking yelling match with someone. And so never went to jail, but probably easily like 20 plus times I had little run-ins with the
Dodged some
police.
bullets, then it sounds like.
Yeah, dodged a lot of
So you said
bullets.
it got to the point where you were drinking at work or just right after work or both?
I've been in the restaurant business for pretty much my whole life. So I've always
Yeah.
worked at bars. So I would drink at work. I'd have your after shift drink, which was 12 drinks after work, and then go out to the next bar. Come home. I had a late shift. No, you didn't. You're fucking bombed. But
So yeah, it's just like not only just getting off work, drinking, wasting all that time, but then you're probably spending a bunch of money on it on top of the shift drink. Yeah.
oh, yeah, I mean, I go make my tips. I go spend my tips and give them to a new
Yeah.
bartender.
Just give it right back. It's the cause. Yeah. No,
Keep the
I get
cycle
it. I get
going.
it. So so you had some consequences, not like legal consequences, but did it ever start to like affect your health? When did you start realizing that?
I think so probably around 2023, I want to say. 2023 I went out and I went to a Renaissance fair and I was with my friends. I was definitely pretty deep into drinking still, but it was like a birthday weekend thing for me. So I went out, I drank some ungodly amount of mead and beer and everything else that you can find at a Renaissance fair. And I woke up the next day and I was like, something's not quite right. And I had this shooting fucking pain going from like my lower abdomen up through my back. And I was like, for probably a good year now, I was already worried about the alcohol doing
Yeah.
something to me, but also didn't want to believe that it could. And I kept throwing up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ease this pain. And I got in my car, went to my dive bar, had a shot of Jameson, and it got 10 times worse. And I called an
Wow.
ambulance because I had never known what the hell. I have never experienced that pain. I couldn't even stand. And they brought me to the hospital and I had pancreatitis. I chalked it off to a wild birthday week. And I was like, I'll stop drinking for a month. And a month later, I went right back to it, like no problem whatsoever.
Crazy.
Like didn't spend a
Same
week
thing
in
that
the
happened to me. I
hospital.
spent a week in the
Cried.
hospital because I was my ex at the time found me on the bathroom floor, curled up into a ball, and I was like mumbling something and kind of like moving uncontrollably, and went to the hospital. And I told
Mhm.
myself, 30 days. If I can quit for 30 days, I can control my drinking. And I was so proud of myself. And then
Yep.
the day 30, I was just like, screw it, and I was back to it, drinking the next morning. It was great.
Yep.
Didn't learn my lesson.
Great time.
Yeah.
Felt that right
So
there. Yep.
So you went to the hospital, you had pancreatitis. Did you experience any like other withdrawal symptoms while you're at the hospital?
At that time, not really. They had me on so much Dilaudid that I could have,
Yeah.
but I don't really know. But at the time, I don't think I was quite there. I was definitely dependent, but I don't think I was like physically dependent at that point. So the physical dependence definitely came on that first relapse where I was ever so confident, like you said, that I could 30 days and I'm
Yeah,
a pro.
exactly. No, it's yeah, when I tried that 30 days, I remember I was miserable the whole time, and I tried drinking O'Doul's at the bars because I love the bar scene, the dive bar scene, and I like the
Yeah.
social aspect. So I went and I would spend like 35 bucks on non-alcoholic beverages, so that would piss me off. And then I'd go home and I don't feel like I had the
Yep.
support from my significant other at the time because she was still drinking. So I was just like, this sucks, man. Like, so I couldn't wait till
Right.
day 30 to show up, and I proved myself. I can get sober anytime I want, and then just back to it. The next thing you know, I'm calling in sick to work a day later. It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's a
Same exact
horrible
here.
cycle. But working in the restaurant industry, that's tough because I know like everybody seems to drink in the restaurant industry. It's pretty common whether you're a cook or a bar back or what, you know, it's like it's
Yeah.
or a
I
waiter.
mean, I yeah, I was a waiter for a long time. I moved on to bartending and yeah, sober bartending it's something. It's an
Probably really productive, I would
experience
assume.
and yeah, it's definitely productive. It's definitely a deterrent when people get to where they want to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. You're just like, yeah, these people feel good, but here I am sober.
Terrible time tomorrow though, so
So,
it's
like, can you kind of go into like what your relationships were like? What was dating like through all this, through all the drinking and stuff?
yeah. I am by some miracle still with the same girl that I was with
Patient
10
girl.
years ago. She's dealt with me through everything. She's come into me passed out on the bathroom floor. She's driven behind the ambulance when I got pancreatitis. And so she's dealt with it. It's definitely pushed us pretty far apart on a few occasions, but she's stuck by it. We lived in a shithole studio for the longest time. And, she knew I was in a bad spot. So she was sympathetic to a
Hmm.
point. And then come that second time at the
She
hospital
give you an
was kind of
ultimatum.
her yeah, she gave me an ultimatum and I still fucked it up another time like a year later,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, she gave me an ultimatum that time and almost ruined everything. She's still outside in the living room now,
Yeah. Well,
but
she's seen obviously your improvements as of recent, and been a good support system. It
yeah,
sounds like.
yeah, she absolutely. I mean, she's seen the ups and the downs and she stopped drinking probably before I did because I think from what she's told me I completely turned her off of it. So watching me kind of got her sober before me, and she never even had a problem
Oh,
with
okay.
it
I
though.
was gonna
So
say I wasn't gonna ask too many questions about her because I know it's her story to tell. But like, were you guys
she's
codependent?
she was always a very infrequent drinker. So even at the end of the night, I was always still the one just sitting there alone, killing a fucking 6-pack and then taking 3 shots, and she's just
Yeah.
sitting there like,
It's the same thing. It's like I always envied people like that. I was in a meeting a couple hours ago, and we had kind of like a first step meeting, and I was just hearing some of these stories, and everybody's story is so common as alcoholics. It's like, yeah, I'm with these people, and they can stop at 3 or 4, but then it's always me at the end of the night drinking by myself, and it was like, why do we need to reach a certain point compared to other people? It's like,
yeah, I mean, I remember planning my whole day around when liquor stores are going to open and close and what ones I'm going to go to make sure that they don't see me go to the same one twice or they haven't seen me 5 days in a row. I'm going out to the bar tonight, and after the bar, what time am I going to get out? Will I get out on time for the liquor store? I got to make sure that I get there on time. Like, if I leave the bar and I don't have a 6-pack at home, what am I going to
yep,
do?
no, I get it.
And that's not normal.
No, not normal. It's how much do you think you were drinking on a really, really average day?
So every day I had my routine of I would go to the bar. I would usually have 1 or 2 beers there. I only drink double IPAs, so always 8% and up. I would drink 2 beers there. I'd go to the liquor store and I would get those gigantic fucking White Claw surges that are 8%, and I would get a bunch of them because they're really cheap. So I would get like 3 or 4 of those. I would get a couple nips of Jameson, and I would go home. I would drink those. Usually that was probably by like 5 p.m., and then I would go back out and stumble to a liquor store, go grab whatever I could afford, which was usually nothing, and I would transfer whatever $8 I had in my bank account over, and I would go spend it right there at that liquor store, and I would calculate it down
Wow.
to the penny. But yeah, I mean, easily like 6 to 8 16-ounce double
Yeah, so you're rocking
IPAs
like 20 drinks a
on
day at
top of
least. Yeah.
easily, yeah. Yeah, definitely
When
easily. Not
when did it
counting.
evolve into like, say, waking up, withdrawal symptoms, the shakes, heart thudding? If you've had seizures, I'm assuming you've gone through that too.
Oh yeah. The shakes, I think so when I started to feel like full-blown withdrawals was probably I would say June or July of 2024. I started to drink super heavy. I got this like office job that made me miserable, and I made an excuse to drink at any point. Lunch break drink, get out drink, and that was what I kept doing. And I quit that job to drink more pretty much because I got tired of waking up early and started waking up and drinking, tried to get another restaurant job, could barely hold that, and I started to realize I was going into that job shaking, and I would have to take a shot of whiskey when I got to work to stop shaking, or else I couldn't carry
Yeah.
any drinks. And so that was probably July. August, I was waking up and I was going to the liquor store before they opened, waiting in the parking lot so that I can get in and get a drink so that I could stop feeling sick and shaking. And then, yeah, a couple months of that. And then come August, I thought I was having a panic attack, went to urgent care, and seized out in front of
Wow.
everybody.
Uh-huh. What can you walk me through that whole day before the seizure happened? What happened?
Yeah, so right before, I think 2 weeks before the seizure, one of my best friends had passed away, and I just completely spiraled. I was already really bad, like waking up withdrawals and everything, so I relapsed on coke at that point, and I started waking up drinking. I was staying up for like 2, 3 nights on end doing coke, calling my friends with coke, getting a bag here, there, wherever I could. And I stopped doing the coke because it was bad. And a week later, I was still drinking so heavy. And I'm noticing for about a week, my heart is just fucking pounding out of my
Even when
chest
you're
every
drinking?
day. And I can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even when I'm drinking. And that's what I would drink to
Yeah.
stop. So I'm like, this isn't right. And I'm starting to realize I can't sleep at all. I'm barely sleeping like 2, 3 hours a night. And I'm not even doing anything at this point other than drinking. And one day I'm going to the bar and I'm like, it's probably noon. And I'm like, I got to get to the bar and calm my anxiety because I'm freaking out. I'm shaking. And I'm on the phone with my mom. And I'm like, she doesn't really know the extent. But I'm on the phone with her and I'm like, listen, I think I'm having a panic attack again. And I've called her probably every day that week about this. She's like, can you just go to the fucking urgent care for me, please? And so I turn the car around and I'm like, yeah, I'll go to urgent care. And I'm driving my girlfriend's car and I get to the urgent care parking lot. I walk in and then I tell them I'm having a panic attack and they fill out the form. Da da da. I sit down, get up, go in the exam room. They call my name and they're like, all right, let's see what's going on. And they stuck something to me and they looked at me. They looked at the thing and they looked up at me and they said, you're about to have a seizure. And I was like, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, I don't think I can do that. And then I woke up in the ICU. And I guess I did have a
That is
seizure.
frightening.
So I don't
What
remember
was the most
any
frightening
of
part
it.
about waking up after the seizure?
I woke up and all I saw was my girlfriend staring down at me with just the most disappointment I've ever seen and rage because I took her car to do this for some reason. And yeah, she was just furious at me. She dropped off my shit, left, and I was laying there in the ICU hallway. They still didn't get a room for me. I still didn't know what the hell was going on. All I knew was I had a seizure. She dropped my stuff off and left, and she just started texting me how she was done and
Oof.
everything. And
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
happened to me before too. It's just the last thing you want when you're already like, getting kicked while you're down, but at the
yeah,
same time, it's like we kind of deserve it because we put ourselves through it. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I'm on the phone yelling in an ICU hallway. I'm like, please don't leave. And I'm like, I don't even give a fuck if people hear me. I'm like, I brought
yeah,
myself here. I'm like, now I got to try and
yeah.
fix
No,
it.
it's
So,
tough going through that because you're already disappointed in yourself, and then you're like already about to lose somebody you care about, and at the time, it's almost all you
yeah.
got. So it's like Jesus.
Yeah, all my family lives in Georgia too. I'm like, where do if I leave this hospital, where the fuck am
Yeah,
I
I
gonna go?
know. It's like, all right, I got to stay here as long as possible. Get this sorted out. No, I get it. So, like, did you already know about the risk of seizures, like when it comes to alcohol withdrawal before it happened, or were you kind of unaware of that?
Yeah, I knew. I actually joked about it. When I first got pancreatitis and I went to the hospital, they told me, they were like, if you experience any withdrawal seizures, and I laughed at the doctor and I was like, that would
Yeah,
never happen to me. And it crossed my mind probably once, maybe when I would wake up shaking and I was like, what if I have a seizure? But I never thought that could possibly happen. I'm like, I know people who drank more than me their whole life and they've never had a
yeah,
seizure. So I'm thinking, why would that happen to
yep.
me?
No, I get it. I mean, I did you ever suffer from panic attacks as a kid? Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
So,
all the
like,
time.
once I stopped suffering from panic attacks, that's probably around the time I started drinking. So I didn't realize that while I was drinking, I would come down off alcohol before I was really educated on it, and I would have it come down and stop drinking for like a night or two, and I'd be with my girlfriend at the time who hardly drank, so when I was around her, I didn't drink as much, and I would just feel like I was having a panic attack. I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack, and
Hmm.
got me to the hospital a couple of times, and I remember the first thing they would ask me is how much you've been drinking, and I would always be like, oh, I just casually have a few beers here and there, when in reality, I'm having like 20 a day or something, and I didn't realize it was alcohol
Yeah,
related. I thought I was like, oh, I'm just having panic attacks like when I was a kid, so it's just a scary realization, that because I was just blaming it on my childhood because I remember having those random moments where I was in like the school assembly and I would just be like, and I would have to leave, and those kind of things. But then it was happening as an adult, and I was like, oh, it was alcohol the whole time. So yeah, it's very scary.
yeah. Yeah, it took me a little bit to come to that realization. I mean, I would wake up just hands trembling, and I'm like, the anxiety's
Yeah.
bad
Oh,
today.
I can give you a quick walk through what happened the last time I had gone through withdrawals or had a seizure. Woke up and the same thing that you said happened to you where I was trying to drink my way out of the withdrawals and the heart thudding, and like for some reason the more I drank the sicker I got and the more I kept shaking, and I even like was like, okay, I'm going to take a shower, and then if I don't start to feel better by the end of the shower, I'm going to go to the hospital. And then in the shower I just collapsed, had a seizure, and like came out of it with water all over my face and hit my head, and I was just like, okay, and then I barely could grab my phone to call somebody to take me to the hospital, and that was the last time I drank. But I just remember I had to have people at the hospital hold the cup up to my mouth so I could drink because I couldn't hold anything, and it was just horrible.
Nah, terrible. You're lucky you didn't hit your head worse on something else. I
Yeah,
mean, in
and
the
it's a
shower, that's
glass
terrifying.
shower all around it, so it could have been so much worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just frightening. And like, sadly, that wasn't the last time I drank. I went to the hospital and I agreed to go to treatment. but treatment, they couldn't get me in for about 2 weeks. So I had 2-week gap there, and they gave me all these benzos, to stay off alcohol. But I still had the audacity to sneak a few drinks in between those 2 weeks. Nothing crazy, but like it's crazy that none of that stopped me, because the anxiety was so bad.
No, I hear
So
you.
yeah.
After
So like I'm curious, after you had the seizure, was that the last time you ever touched alcohol?
No, so after I had the seizure, I was pretty adamant that I could quit, and then my mind went to, maybe you can moderate. Last time was, it'll be different this time. And so I went to go hang out with my friends. I went to a concert. I had one beer, and I'm doing good, and I'm so confident. And then there was a medical emergency in my family in that August of when I last drank of 24. Yeah, 24. Seizure was 23, 22 was pancreatitis. Yeah, so 24 when I last drank, had a medical emergency in my family, decided, let me go out to the bar, just have a drink or two, calm it down. Had a 3-day bender, blacked out immediately, kept drinking, got into a screaming match with my girlfriend because she was like, I'm fucking done. This is it, If a seizure didn't teach you, what is? And then the state police were in our apartment because someone called the cops.
Whoa.
Thankfully, no one got arrested. No one got hurt. It was just loud,
From
really
screaming?
loud, and people freaked out. Yeah, she was screaming at me. I'm piss drunk screaming at her. I've never been physically anything when I'm drunk. I'm just loud as fuck. So I'm just a drunk, loud disaster. The state police are in my apartment now at that point, and they're yelling at me. Not yelling at her. They're asking her what's going on. And I had covered a shift at work, which I worked at a bar across the street at the time. So I drank from the second I got into that shift to the second I left because I was so hungover. I was like, I'll fix me. And then I stayed after and took shots and more shots and more shots, stumbled home. She saw me from the window, pretty much falling across the street. Yeah, and I walked in and she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "I'm totally fine with one eye shut." Yeah, she didn't buy it, turns out.
I'm still shocked that somehow you didn't end up, at least of all those times in interactions with cops, you didn't end up in jail.
Yeah, you and me both. Luckily, my city that I grew up in is it's not a nice city particularly, so they don't really want to bother
Okay.
half the time. They got big shit to worry
Okay.
about,
That makes
so
sense.
thankfully they usually just
Yeah.
yell at
Say,
you.
get your shit together, man,
Quite
and then come back a couple weeks later.
Yeah, yeah. They yell at you, and then they're like, "Someone just got shot like 5 blocks away. I gotta go
Yeah,
deal
that
with
makes
that."
sense.
So
Probably a bigger fish to fry. Yeah.
yeah, they got better shit to worry
So,
about.
what was the last 24 hours? What happened in the last 24 hours of drinking then when you quit?
So the next day, I woke up so violently ill. I couldn't get out of bed. It was the last time I've been in bed until 1 p.m. I couldn't get out. I stood up. I moved to my couch. A bunch of my family was coming over that day, which just
Yeah.
sucked. It was my dad, who doesn't even live in Connecticut, my grandma, my aunt, my little brother, and they're all coming over, and I'm just full-blown relapse hangover, 3-day bender, just on the couch. So like, you want to get food? I'm like, I want to throw up on
Were they
myself
coming
right
over
now.
to
And
intervene or just like already planned event?
no, it was just they planned on it. They were first time seeing my apartment and everything, and so it was supposed to be a good old fun day, and it was planned for months, and I fucked it all up for that 3 days, and I don't know if they knew or not. I'd imagine they did. I looked like a corpse on my couch for that whole day, and I think I was sick for probably another like 3 to 4 days. My body just was not ready for it, and that was the last time. And
So
I
you didn't
just
even
think
drink while
about
they were in town?
how I felt. I drank for the first day they were in town, and then they came over the next day. So I started my bender prior to them coming, kept drinking while they were here, and then finished it off while they
Oh,
were
okay.
over.
So, and you don't think they could
Yeah.
tell that were you kind of trying to taper off?
I mean, they probably were able to tell. They knew that I had a problem, and they saw me drinking at the party that they had come in
Okay.
for. And they all kind of quietly said the thing that wasn't being said. So it was kind of like dirty looks, and then the next day they're seeing me and they're like, I think he hit hard at the bottom because they knew I was in the hospital for
So
seizures,
they were
and
pretty aware of your
they knew
alcoholism
I
this
was.
whole time.
Yeah, at that point, everyone was very aware, and I was like, "Oh, I have it under control," and I'm stupidly obvious about it. I'm at the party like, "No, look, I'm moderating." I'm announcing it for some reason as I down another shot from the cooler of random shit that I don't even
Yeah.
drink.
Did it? Do you know if alcoholism ran in your family or anything?
I don't think it did. I know my family has partied a lot, but like they've never really had a problem like that. And if they did, maybe they just didn't tell me about it. But I think I'm the first one who broke these barriers, especially with other drugs. At least I know that they never got into
Okay.
that stuff.
So,
But
huh.
and they've drank
So
my
you
whole
think that
life.
was like your
So
rock bottom moment though, when you were just hungover, practically a corpse?
yeah, uh, I think that was kind of what felt like rock bottom. Rock bottom was definitely the
Yeah.
seizure. The the last bender relapse was more like a slap in the face, kind of like you had it under control, you were doing so good, and you just got so confident,
Mm-hmm.
and you thought you could do it again, and you can't, and you just need to understand that you don't have willpower with alcohol.
Same.
So,
I got sober I did the 90 and 90 when I got out of the hospital one time. I've been in the hospital so many times I can't even count, but this time was for injuries related to drinking, and I fallen down some concrete stairs really hard and got airlifted to a hospital, spent a week there, healed up, and then went to 90 and 90 and was like, oh, I got this figured out, and just thought like, it's been 90 days. Obviously I got control. I told myself I would have one of those little, those juice boxes of wine with like 3 glasses in it. Yeah, I thought I would have one of those and call it
yeah.
good, and I would limit myself to one of those per day. By the next day, I was having like 4 or 5 of those, and it was just back at it, buying boxes of wine, fifths and half gallons.
Hmm.
And so there was, yeah, I realized after another 2.5 months of copious amounts of alcohol that I had a problem. And then I had that seizure, and went to the hospital, and that was it.
I mean, it's funny how we do that, though. It's funny that we sit there and we're like, yeah, I got this one a day. And it's like, we shouldn't even be thinking
Yeah.
to that point of, I need
Yeah.
this one a day.
I mean, geez, I just, so did you have to go to any rehab, or did you do this on your own? Like, what did you do?
So after I got out of the hospital, I same day went to AA. I got out, I went to a 7 o'clock meeting, and I decided to speak for some reason, and I just cried
Mhm.
the whole time. And I went back for a couple weeks. I hate AA. I just don't like it. It's not
No, I
my
know it's
thing.
not everybody's thing.
So I did that, and then I just I got offered rehab. My family told me, you could go get help, and I didn't want to do that. I hate being out of my house. So I just decided I'm going to tough it out. I sweat my balls off and withdrawed for like 1 or 2 weeks, waking up in puddles
Mhm.
of sweat and going to work. And just my boss at the time was kind of like on me about it too, because I told them all about it. So they helped me avoid it. I told all my friends. I just decided to be open about it so that everyone kind of hold
Yeah,
me
that's smart.
accountable. Yeah, so I toughed it out, and yeah, ever since that 3-day bender in 2024, I haven't touched it. Man, I haven't touched any drugs other than weed, and yeah, that's how that
Wow.
went.
So yeah, so you went to a little bit of meetings. Did you take anything from those meetings, or just kind of it was just a nice little way to start off and just kind of get your mind right?
I definitely took something out of them. I mean, I met some of the nicest, most awesome people I've ever met in my life. The people there are phenomenal. I mean, even the person who was chairing the meetings was great. He took down my number, and they're all super supportive. I took a lot of stories out of it, and eventually just got to the point I'm not a religious person. I never have been, and there's a lot of it in
Mhm.
AA, and I just stopped slowly going. But I took out of it a lot because I saw a lot of people not my age but not much older than me, and one of the guys who was chairing the meeting was around my age, and it kind of gave me a perspective like, maybe I'm not alone being a guy in his 30s trying to stop drinking, and maybe this isn't all like people in their 60s and
Yeah.
up. So that was a good motivation for me because when I stopped, I felt like, there's no one in this group or age category. What the hell am I going to do? I can't go drinking with anybody anymore. And it's like I went there and I saw a lot of people and I'm like, I'm not alone. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
doing this.
Exactly. No, I just realized that you've been sober exactly 33 days longer than me. So congratulations. That's pretty cool. I
Oh,
got
really?
sober September 28th
Nice.
of the same year. So yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Congratulations.
No, it's pretty cool. So like what, like I'm sure you still work in the service industry and all that, the restaurant industry.
Yeah, I actually just stopped bartending. I want to say less than a
Wow.
week ago, like 5 days
So
ago.
how have you dealt with like
So
temptation
I
and
just
stuff?
the people, honestly, just having people getting hammered around me all the time was a huge deterrent. I saw people falling all over themselves, saw people argue, I saw people walk out on their significant others, and I'm like, every time I'm like, think about it. Someone's like, you want to take a shot? And I'm like, remember those 3 days? I'm like, remember how you were laid out with the cops there? And I always try to play the tape forward because if I think about that, then I won't think about the moment and how it's going to feel for masking my pain for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's have fun and get hammered for 2 hours. Then tomorrow I could die or start a fucking problem when I go home. I'll leave here, hit the liquor store, maybe go to another bar. Like, I know how
Yeah.
this goes.
Oh, I get it.
It won't be one
Yeah, you know the
shot.
consequences now, and it's like, is it worth it? Is it really worth to throw it all away?
Yeah, I've made this much progress. I bought my own sober 1 year coin off of Amazon. I don't want to fuck
That's
it all up
awesome. You know,
now.
I ordered my own set of coins too because I'm kind of weird. Like I go to the meetings and I get a chip there, but I like my chips to be the really nice ones, so I still ordered myself the nice ones.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got a chip from one meeting, and then I got this like real thick like
Yeah.
mountains on it.
Exactly. I like to feel like a badass. But it is
Yeah.
badass being sober this long, so I think so. But so like, what other ways has your life improved? I mean, going back, you and I both suffered from severe anxiety. It sounds like. Did you, if you don't mind me asking, do you see like a counselor? Do you get medicated? Anything like that, or how do you like deal with that stuff now? Or has your anxiety gotten better in sobriety?
After I stopped drinking, I really, really, really I wanted to convince myself that the alcohol was it. Like I could go about regularly without it. And I did it month after month and still something in me was like, I don't know, I can't figure it out. So I started seeing a psychiatrist, I started seeing a therapist. They put me on SSRIs or antidepressants, and we started from pretty low. We worked our way up. We did the whole process how it's supposed to be, monitored my side effects, all that, and I've been on them ever since. And my overall mindset has definitely improved a lot. I mean, it doesn't get rid of the problems. There's still a lot of personal growth and working on yourself that you have to do, but it definitely helps with like that looming not wanting to get out of bed feeling. Like, there were plenty of times where I just couldn't pull joy out of anything, and I'm sure abusing a shitload of substances my whole life doesn't help my serotonin at all.
Not at all.
So so yeah, I mean, I definitely, I do see a psychiatrist. I take meds. I don't take anything narcotic. So I only take Wellbutrin and Lexapro. I was very straightforward with my psychiatrist. I told her, you can't give me any
no
benzos.
clonazepam or
I
lorazepam.
can't I can't have Xanax. I can't have Klonopin. I can't have any of that stuff. I can't have Adderall for the ADD.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page, and we work all around that stuff, which
I'm on medications too, and I've been in counseling and stuff, and it's like, getting and staying sober is so much more than just putting down the bottle. You got to put the work in. So
But yeah, you got to start thinking, why did I drink in the first place? Let's start unpacking that with my therapist. And I'm like, oh, there's a whole lot more reasons than I ever
are there any
thought.
traumas or anything you look back at that could have been the reason you think you drank?
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up with, like I said, my mom and my father split when I was very little. So I grew up with my mom dating, and there were people in my life that were very not good, and we learned the hard
stories
way.
are very similar.
So a lot of stuff to unpack, that I bottled up and just put in the back of my head that I never thought about. And I'm like, wow, that might be a reason why I act the
Yeah.
way I
I had a
act.
lot of
Like,
shitty rent-a-dads, that lasted a few months, and I'm just like, "Why are we living at
yeah,
this stranger's house? I don't get it. Why am I
exactly.
changing
Yeah.
schools again?"
Very
Yeah.
much so.
No, it all adds up. I think that was the constant. My parents divorced when I was 6, and I just saw, different relationships for both of them. My dad got remarried pretty quickly and stayed with her for quite a while, but my mom was just bouncing from guy to guy to guy, and I was just like, I'm 6 or 7, and it's like, what can I do about it? And I didn't know it affected me till later.
Yeah, same here. Yep. I mean, I remember in school, like I would go to my friends' houses and I'm like, they're both here. I'm like, who are these
Yeah.
people? My parents. I'm like, they live together? I'm like, that's not normal.
No, seriously. Yeah, no, those our childhoods definitely impact who we became and what we went through. But do you find it
Absolutely.
easier now that we're older? We went through all that. I almost don't even regret that I was a full-blown alcoholic for 17 years because I feel stronger now than I did before I started drinking, I think. So do you ever feel that way?
No, I think addiction in general is one of the very few things in this world that you could go into as a perfectly good person and come out as an even better person than
It's
you
a
were
great way to put it.
before. I love that I went through my battles and I dealt with what I dealt with. I saw things that people will never see. I dealt with things that people will never deal with. And I had good times that people will never have, and I had absolute shit rock bottom times that no one will
Yeah,
ever
you
have.
don't want people to go
And
through.
every
So being on this podcast, telling
every
the story will help other people not want to get to that point if they're on their way to that point.
that's the goal. I mean, I made this Instagram page, and all I wanted out of it was if it helps one single person realize that I don't have to go through this. I could stop before I get to that point because I never thought I would get to that point. I always, even my friends, like, I was the fun party drunk. Even if I ended up passed out on the floor at the end of the night, I was the fun one. And I thought that was normal. And I really just, I denied it and I denied it and I denied it. And it put me in the hospital and it did it again and still denied it. And I couldn't grasp the fact that I could be the one who's actually
I
addicted
know.
to anything.
Denial is a
Like, my willpower is better than everyone else's. I'm better
yeah.
than you. Like,
In reality, our tolerance apparently was better than anybody's.
yeah, exactly. I don't even think that was there at that point. Don't
I
remember
know.
shit.
Gosh, even my friends, I thought I was the fun one and all that, but then people would tell me, they're like, please don't get, and they would use my last name, that drunk tonight. And I was just like, what? I have a nickname now?
Yeah.
Really? And you guys must talk behind my back or something. I was like, because I'd be popping Xanax and drinking, blacking out. Next morning, walk out to the living room, be like, hey, last night was fun. And my friends would be like, no, it wasn't. We had to carry your ass up the stairs.
Nothing was fun about last night, actually. You ate a Xanax, you drank a bottle, you blacked out, and you caused
Yep, that was me.
problems.
And I was just like, oh, I'm so glad to wake up these days not having to apologize to people.
Even on, like, especially New Year's Eve, like this past New Year's Eve, I did it again. I'm like, I go home, I'm going to go to sleep early. I did. I woke up the next day and I live next door to a Dunkin' Donuts. So I walk over and I'm like, go get my coffee. And I'm looking at everyone around me and I'm like, this is where I win. I'm like, you had your
Exactly.
fun.
It's awesome.
You all look like hell
I
today,
know.
though.
It's this past weekend, I went out to a comedy show and some, uh, I went to watch the Seahawks game at the bar beforehand, and we sat at the bar. It's the first time I'd sat at a bar. I've been in bars and restaurants before, but first time I sat there where they're pouring right in front of me. And I was just people watching,
Mhm.
and I'm just watching people get effed up. And all I could think was, they're going to feel like shit tomorrow. I'm going to feel good. This is great.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I'm having a good time and I'm here and I know what's going on. I'm going to remember it
Exactly. And
all.
I love that it's not embarrassing being sober. It's I don't feel bad telling people I don't drink anymore. People are usually proud of you. They're like, cool, good for you.
Yeah, I haven't found any resistance to it. So that's a good thing. And I mean, I've gone to plenty of concerts. I just try to live my life like how I wanted to
Hmm.
when I was drinking, but I didn't have the money to because I was spending it
Same.
all on
Yeah.
drinking.
You get to do a lot more now. You can travel, go to concerts, stuff that I couldn't afford before because I was having $70 bar bills all the time. It's
Yeah, I could go out to eat and not worry about how much I'm gonna
yeah,
ration on
down to
alcohol
the cent.
versus food. I'd actually just go eat and enjoy
Yeah, it's
myself.
nice to just not have to worry when bills come up and things happen. It's like, oh, I didn't blow it on drinking or cocaine.
I have X amount today. I could get a bag tomorrow and 3 beers. Maybe at some point I'll make a little more
Yeah,
money.
let's hope. And then maybe rent will get paid. Maybe.
I'll talk to my landlord about that when it comes, but right now I gotta
Yeah,
get a bag.
exactly. Priorities. No, I totally get it. It's yeah, we don't miss those days. So you started the Instagram page. Can you shout out the name of it and all that and how people can reach you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is another sober guy. It's just my life. I post a lot of stories and not that many other things, but it's just shit I do. I like to go out into nature. I like to hike, and just a kind of a page that shows you could live a regular day-to-day life sober and still enjoy yourself and do regular things. You don't need to go do anything drinking. Like, it's not
Awesome.
necessary.
That's great. Do you
So
catch yourself, helping people in your life or anybody coming through social media? Do you giving out advice? And if somebody asked you for advice who are struggling right now, what would you say?
yeah, I've had probably not many people, but maybe 2 people reach out and just ask how it started. And I had one guy who I still keep up with often. He talks to me a lot about just random day-to-day advice, and even if it's not getting people to completely stop drinking, cutting down is step one. And if someone came to me right now and they said they were struggling, I would just tell them to tell me their story. Tell me why and what's stopping you from putting it down. You're probably nervous, realistically. That's what it comes down to in the end. I was terrified. What are you scared of and what can help you make it easier? That's all I
Yeah.
gotta
No,
ask.
that's great advice. I appreciate it. What does 24 hours a day look like to you now that you are sober and happy and feeling better?
Yeah, I wake up 7, 8, 9 o'clock, depending on. Right now, I'm going to be starting a new job, but every day I wake up, I feel good. I eat, I have lunch. It's so boring and so average, honestly, but it's so nice compared to what it was. I get up early, I eat, I go get my errands done, I go to work, I come home, try to get an early night. I see my friends. It's good. Everything's organized, everything's
Hmm.
purposed out, and nothing feels like I have some detrimental thing going on that I
Yeah,
have
no
to
more
accomplish.
procrastinating the little things and all that.
No more hiding bottles, no more making up excuses why I'm leaving. Like, it's so much
All
more
that work you put
relaxed.
into the hiding and like making excuses to go to the car to take a sip, it's like, God, it gets exhausting.
Addiction
It
is
is.
exhausting.
It's a full-time job. And then being sober, they say it's a full-time job, but everything's 10 times easier anyways. So
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier. It's easier being sober than it is to hide 14 nips of Jameson in the empty waffle box in the back of
oh
my
yeah, no,
freezer.
my
So
my golf bag, I used to take the clubs out and put bottles in where the clubs would go. Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but you get
yeah,
creative.
oh yeah, oh yeah, very
Yeah,
creative.
no, I don't miss that at all. And it's like, did you ever have to like make any amends with people that or anything like that?
I Not really, honestly. I mean, thankfully, I've had a very close circle that I've always kept around who they were pretty straightforward with me, but they stuck around. And anyone who I did have a problem with when I was drinking, I reflected on, and it turns out I just have a problem with them
Yeah,
in general. So
no, I get it. No, that's good. But I mean, obviously, your relationship with your girlfriend improved drastically, I assume.
drastically, yeah, she doesn't try to
That's
leave me
good.
every day
That's
now,
good.
which is
Yeah.
cool. 10 out of 10
No more
on.
yelling in the intensive care unit.
Yeah, no, I don't come home and hope that my bags aren't sitting
And
outside.
no encounters with police since you've been sober. So
No
that's good.
disappointed cops.
That's good. Well, I'm really, really happy with how far you've made it, because it sounds like you were in a pretty dark spot with the seizures and, you know, interactions with the cops coming to your house and stuff. So it sounds like you made it out of that hole. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely not in that place
It's
anymore,
awesome. And I see
thankfully.
you're rocking Sober Strong. Are you? That's awesome.
Yeah,
They sponsor the show actually.
yeah.
So Chris, he's
Oh,
an
really?
awesome guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love him. He's
great
awesome.
brand, great quality stuff.
Dude, the shirt is awesome. I have another one in there. I have a hat. They're
Yeah,
fucking
no,
10
it's
out of
great
10.
stuff.
I have the same
And
hat
it's
you're
packaged really well
yeah.
too. It shows up in that little bag with the sticker, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
No, yeah, I have the sticker on my old
Oh
server
yeah,
book that
got
I
it on the back of
would
my
wait
phone
to.
right here. Yeah.
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 It's just,
Oh, that's awesome. I love the clothes. So I just noticed you were wearing it. So it's always cool when both of us are
yeah.
rocking it during the episode. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Definitely.
coming on today. Was there any last words you'd like to say to my listeners that are out there right now?
Hey, I appreciate you having me. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate all your questions. If anyone listening to this has an issue or has had any prior problems and they want to talk about their story, definitely hop on this and talk to Ryan.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.